welcome to Partick Hill Station. This is Charlie McGowan, sort of a local echo as usual, so I'll just get that fixed. Well, good afternoon and welcome. Got a bit of an echo here. I have to sort that out first. Always good to have a set of earphones in the train route. Okay, so once again, welcome to everybody out there in YouTube who might be watching, and any members of the MRYCG, and those who may have just stumbled over my website. This is Partick Hill Station. I'm Charlie McGowan, and today I'm running 3 of my A4 locomotives that I have in my collection. Sir Walter Wigham, Silver Link, and Sir Nigel Gresley. Now the fourth one is it's under repair right now, and it's not able to run. It's got a Ringfield motor, and I'm waiting on part coming over from the UK, the little brass cog that I need to replace, and then I'll get it back up and running. I was hoping that the mailman would have brought a package today, but it hasn't arrived yet. And in that package are a number of items I may have mentioned to you before, that I made a list of and sent it over to a store in the UK. Anyway, the A4 seems to be running okay, no problem, and I haven't put any coaches on. Just thought I'd give the locos a run on their own. Just as I spoke, one of them got hung up on the red points, which happens. It's just a case of you have to take care and keep an eye open. So I got my second vaccination today, so we're good to go, but still can't go anywhere, can't travel, can't go out to eat. All restaurants, stores are still closed. It's sidewalk or curbside, as they call it, pick up. However, patios will open next week, which is a good thing. That will help many businesses that have had to close over the last number of months. It'll help them recover. And I still need a haircut. haven't had a haircut in months, and it's getting totally out of order. So I'm running my A4 and a Logitech Brio that you see here. And the iPhone 11 is what you see in Cam 2, and that's sort of wide angle view looking into the station. And I also have my Blue Yeti as the microphone, and I hope you're getting clear and solid sound from that. Not really sure what this time is to jump on to StreamYard and YouTube. I never know who's watching, who is at home, not working. Time difference also in UK. It's probably about supper time for most of you guys. And I never know who else is going to be running a session and would be in direct competition. As I didn't see anybody advertising today, I thought, well, this would be a good time to jump on. I was on the Monk Club yesterday for a while, and I just dropped a question in there about local crews. Now, as many of you know, at least with Hornby, you would get, if you bought a new set, you'd get an engine man and somebody to shovel the coal. Now, those plastic 176 scale pedals, I'd have to come by over here in Toronto. So I'm just wondering if anybody out there can make any suggestions. The one chap on the Monday Club suggested that Bagman would be a good source, that they got good figures. But as I don't have access to any shows, I can't really go around and see if there's anything that would pop up that I could use. If any of you were at that show and saw any for sale, I'd be more than happy to pay you for them and the cost of postage. Because I'd like to try and start populating the locos that I have and add a little bit more realism to them. Just going to bring out some Nigel Presley here. Another thing I was want to bring up with you is the mainline coaches that I showed. I gave it a closer look, and somebody has modified and added in these kind of knuckle type couplings, and put them in place. So I'm not really sure what I can do about that. And as I told you, I don't have a locomotive that has this type of coupling. Actually, on the one coach, the coupling just sort of fell out. There's a slot there that might be able to fit something into. I think I'd have to do a bit of a butcher. So if anybody's got any experience with modifying those mainline coaches, I'd appreciate if you just give me a heads up and let me know what's going on. If it's what type of coupling could be placed in there. As I said, when those couplings fell out, they just left a slot which had been, I think it may have been cut out in order that it could attach these knuckle type couplings. So I can only assume that there's nobody out there watching, unless I can into YouTube just to check. I just look on YouTube. There's one watching, and I could be me. Yeah, that could have been me watching. But there's somebody showing up here. Not sure if that's me or if somebody else. I'd appreciate if you could just give me a heads up that you're there and you can hear me clearly. Oh, there's two people. Supper must be over. What did you have for dessert? Anyway, you could just let me know where you're watching. Are you watching on YouTube or are you watching somewhere else? Are you a member of MICG? Or did you just stumble over my page on YouTube? So as I said, I had a couple of people ask about my A4, and I hadn't done them for a while, so we're getting a run out today. Andrew Dobson, how are you? I hope you can hear me loud and clear. I'd be very disappointed if you can't. Anyway, Andrew, hope you like what's running today. A nice little view looking into the station there. This is Nigel Gresley just passing through, and in the opposite direction, it's Walter Wiggum. And sitting in the station, it's just outside the station, the Silver Link. And Mallard isn't available. Mallard is awaiting here. Oh, that's good, Andrew. Thank you. Yeah, unfortunately, the Mallard is like the others. It's Rimfield motorized, and the problem with them often is that the cog in there, which more often than not would be kind of an alloy, and it tends to crack or expand, and as a result you get this whining noise. And I've only discovered this lately. Anyway, I have a number of the replacement parts on order, and I was hoping to have them today so that I could maybe show that replacement taking place. And I've ordered the brass cogs, which are better quality and last longer. So the other last broadcast I did, I showed off a few of the diesels that I've got. I've got another couple. I'm not sure if I'll run them today. One of them has got these nice 3-link couplings or 2-link couplings, and you know, while they look nice, I don't have anything that would match that. So that's, and it's nice. It's a nice Honda. Just put it in there. So, you know, there's a few things that need a bit of care and attention, and that will be done when I receive. Actually, Andrew, I've got one Mallard, which is the one that's being awaiting repair. I have Sir Walter Wiggum and Silver Link and Sir Nigel Gresley. Oh, you enjoyed the Partick video? Yeah. That was 2020. I was over there for family reasons, and I also attended the Model Railway show in Glasgow, and you can see that also for 2021. Losing track here. So yeah, I like to do the little historical bit again and do a tour of my old haunts. Let's say where I live before I came to Toronto. There's many people scattered around the world that grew up there or have relatives who grew up there, and it's just nice to see Rob Johnson in the loft. How are you, Rob? And I'm doing fine, thank you. I had my second COVID vaccination today, so I'm good to go, Rob. But unfortunately, we can't travel anywhere. Still quite restricted here. The stores are still closed. You get curbside pickup for certain items only. Like you can go to a garden place and pick up plants and get stuff. You can order takeout food. But none of the other stores are open. And they will open patios on, I think it might be Monday. So just beginning to open up and let people out to do other things. But afraid that it may go south again. Of course, we can't cross over into the US because the border is closed, and there's no sign in the immediate future of that changing. So, Andrew, you can relate to Partick. How is that? And Rob, as you see, I've got 3 A4s running here. So I'll get them out and give them a run. As I said earlier, not sure if you heard, but I'm waiting on a delivery from the UK. All the parts that I ordered, including the brass cords for the Springfield motors, as I have 2 or 3 that require that cog to be replaced. And Rob, how are things with you? So you may have heard me say or mention that I would put in a 3rd track. I've taken down the elevated sides because I just can't see myself getting to that at this point or in the near future. But laying and modifying for the 3rd track is possible. And then once again, opening up this topic, maybe you know, I showed these nice mainline coaches, but they've got these knuckle type couplings on them. And I have some of the whiskey tankers who have a sort of similar type of coupling, not exactly the same. I don't look at them, they're quite different size altogether. And I'm assuming these actors are Lima. I'm just guessing what they're doing. Yeah, it doesn't say anywhere. Anyway, I'll put some more for the replacement for those because I don't have a locomotive with those knuckle couplers on the end. I'm just going to change one of these up. Actually, yeah, just change these up so you'll be able to see my long hair here. So yeah, just change them up. So there's a Nigel Grizzly and Silver Light that are going around there. Love Vincent. I made a couple of LED signals on you. Oh, red and green LEDs fitted with resistor, so we're right off 12 volts at light. These will fit in small padded envelope. Rob, you are too kind. You're blowing me away with your kindness, Rob. I mean, very, very thoughtful. I don't have any lights on the layout, so they'd be more than welcome. I have a couple of signals, but I really don't have them set up properly. And yeah, I'd like to try the LED lights, and I should be able to hook them up to the accessory connection somewhere on one of my controllers. But that's just fantastic, Rob. Really appreciate that. I'd actually seen, I think, 5 signals, hornbeat, different types. And someone was selling them locally for $30. And sent them a note and just said, could you check to see if it says flying or hornbeat or anything on it? And the lady got back to me and said, yeah, it says hornbeat and another name. I'm sorry, they're awaiting pickup, but I will let you know if the deal falls through. So once in a while I see something out there for sale. I have to think carefully about what I buy. Just, I don't know about you guys, but I just find it difficult to manage and organise everything. I do my best. I have these plastic containers underneath the table. And I've got a load of wagons and coaches, locos stored under the table in these boxes. But I've got all kinds of other stuff. I try to go through every now and again and see if there's something I can sort of get rid of or pass on. Like magazines. I get a box full of magazines. Model, Railway Modeler, BRN, and Railway Modeling magazine is no longer. And I said to the guys on the Plateless Club, I put these magazines, anybody want them, or otherwise go throw them out. And one guy responded and said, oh, I'm looking for a 1974 full binder. Well, sorry, I've got one copy, and that's it from that year. I guess it's a collector. Anyway, so I'm afraid we'll have to go to the charity shop. It's highly likely he'll just dump them because, we are few and far between. So Rob, how things are in your layout? What's happening there? I think I mentioned to you those big long stairs that you got down to the platform. It reminded me of in Sevilla, in Spain. We were over there a number of years ago, and we took an overnight train from Sevilla to Barcelona. And that was interesting because, there's 5 of us in family, and I had to go into a separate cabin with 2 other guys that I didn't know they were Spanish speaking. I knew a little bit of Spanish. This one guy was wanting to smoke, and when I objected, he wasn't too happy. And they always tell you, sleep clutching your wallet, because you just never know. Anyway, we made it safely through that journey. I think it took 12 hours or something like that, and I must have been moving at a slow pace and or sitting at siding somewhere. for a couple of hours. It was quite pleasant, and nice waking up in another city. It's always pleasant. So I'm glad these A4s are running fairly well. Maybe just give that a rest. Do something else out there. I ran this last week, I think, and once again, the topic of wheel sets. These grain tankers were bobbing all over the place, and I looked at them, and at first glance, they didn't appear deep. It didn't look as if I was going to be able to re-gauge them. But when I removed one of the sets, I found that by twisting the wheel, it began to come off. And I think there's a little bit of a thread on the axle. Anyway, I went through the whole process of re-gauging everything and put them back on the track. They all run great. So I was very pleased about that. It's like, one thing at a time. You do one thing and then you see something else, get distracted by that. So we'll get something else in here. See if it runs. Well, as I said, if you don't pay attention, something will go wrong. And that is the case once again. And what I'm actually doing is that I've got this King George VI triangle, and been doing a little bit of work on it because let me just get this set up here. It has a little bit of a hard time on some points. So it's not running perfectly. So what I found was I came across the maintenance sheet for this, and there's a space around here above the front bogey and a screw that's missing. And that went on my list of things to order. Plus, I had to modify, or I had to repair the tender. Is inside the tender was a plastic box into which that screw goes, and it's been broken. So I managed to get it glued back together. So that was one repair done for that. So I just have to find the two screws for the body, and I think I've got them somewhere. Or at least one of those screws will come from possibly from the front bogey. I'll need to check on that. So this is that's a class 25 or 6. Can't remember. That's a Lima product, and it's got those 3-link or 2-link couplings, which don't match anything I've got, and it runs really well. In fact, it probably runs too well because I have to slow it down a little bit once it gets going. So Rob, as soon as I get that third track in, I'm going to start looking at putting, yeah. So I'm going to start looking at putting the tunnel portal in here. It'll be something like, I guess you can't see it in that view, but so it'd be somewhere round about here. depending on the type of clearance I can get. Yeah, it's pretty tight, but I'll work that out. And then I'll start building over that one area. But I can't do anything until I get that third railing, and then I can fix the track, because the track isn't fixed everywhere, and that contributed to some of the poor running of some of the locos that I have, especially in and around some of the points. So I was talking last week about the cost of parts. Not just the cost of the parts, but the cost of shipping the parts. And there's one particular dealer that just, I don't really know, I don't get it, and I haven't asked outright, what's your problem? Or to explain why something like pickup for Triang, which might cost £2 or whatever the cost is, but they want £25 to send it. It's just absolutely mind-boggling and bananas, and it just drives me mental. But what can I tell you? The group that I belong to, the Players, they have what they call a symposium coming up in, I think it's September. And it may be a 1 or 2 day sort of exhibition where they'll have some of the members doing presentations on whatever their area of interest is, and some of them go into huge level of detail. And in the monthly Zoom meeting, a couple of the guys do these presentations. It's mind-boggling, the information that some people have. Anyway, I've got a guy I know who lives in a town a few hours north of here. He just bought himself a new resin printer. He said to me a while back, "Oh, Charlie, we need anything printed." And at the time I said, "No, not right now. I've got a 3D printer, but it's a filament type and it needs a small repair." Anyway, I thought about it, and I realised, hey, there's lots of STL files. Those are the files that you make from the 3D model. I don't know how many of you are familiar with this process. I used to be a 3D modeler. Anyway, what you do in the software, you build the model that you want, and then export the model, that file, and when you export it, it gets converted to a different type of file. And all this mathematics that goes on within the computer. Anyway, that file would be an STL file. And then you import that STL file into your 3D printer, and then it prints just exactly what you model. So you model it whatever size you want, all the correct dimensions, everything, and you export it and it prints it just like that. So I had a look around at some of the sites on the internet where you can get free access to downloadable STL files. And, you know, I came up with a bunch of things like luggage and trolleys and nicks and knacks that you would find on a railway. And I sent them to the guy, and he said, yeah, no problem, and he started the process. And he's shown some updates of what he's been able to print. You know, so I told him, you know, tell me how much I owe you, and the cost of postage, and I'll transfer the money to you that day. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he sends, because with the resin 3D printer, it's a great level of accuracy and finish, because the finish is achieved by putting the printed material into acetone, and acetone so clears the surface of the model, and you get a nice realistic looking piece. Whereas with the filament type, you do tend to get the lines, horizontal lines, which actually represent the thickness of the layer of plastic that you printed. So you generally print 0.5 millimeters at a time. So if you just picture that, you know, if you had a, let's say, post box, and the post box might be 25 millimeters tall, well, it would be 50 layers of plastic that would be required to print that. Whereas in the resin printer, you place the head comes down into the resin, and by magic, the data that goes into the head begins to extract out from the resin, and you can see your models appear. It really is quite amazing, and you should go onto the internet, have a look for 3D resin printing, just to see the process. But I was into this a while back. I was working for a consulting engineering company for many years, and I was always looking at what's new and what could help us. And I was interested in 3D printing from a perspective of, well, we could 3D print for the client part or all of the project that we were building for them. And we actually provided a client who was Manitoba Hydro with a section of their hydroelectric dam to be used as a tool to educate the construction crew in how the concrete pours were all going to go together. So anyway, I came across an opportunity to go into this and see how they did metal printing. This was it's a real eye opener. Now, what they did was they had metal powder and they would heat it up, they would feed it in through the head, and it was heated to melting point, and then it started printing, but it would be encased in plastic, and you have to go through mathematical calculations to determine how much shrinkage they would have to allow for. And then when it was printed, it was then transferred into an oven where the temperature was reduced over a period of time, and then they brought the pieces out and they basically smashed off the plastic, and there was this perfect little metal piece. Now, they weren't big, they were bits and pieces that one of their clients, the backers, who was BMW, was used. So, the brackets and lugs and bosses and stuff like that, all small stuff, but extremely accurate. Of course, you can always print chocolate. There's another thing. I'm just trying to see how long it's been on. Oh yeah, 1 hour and 3 minutes. Time flies when you're having fun. I was trying to think who might be on today. Maybe Canvas Junction. So I can never be sure which day he's on. I'm just going to have a look at YouTube to see if I can see anybody else on there. Just going to have a look at YouTube to see if I can see anybody else on there. No, just the two. I do a podcast on a Sunday evening with a friend of mine who owns and restores 1960s Chevrolet Camaros. And it's interesting that when we do the podcast, there might be one or two people on, but by Monday there's 30 or 40. It might just be a case of timing that Sunday evening at 8 isn't good for people in the UK that might have an interest in Chevrolet Camaros and how to restore them. And I said to my friend, well, it's a lot better to do a live show because you can't guarantee that you're going to get people watching. You can do the same thing just by doing it and then posting it later as a recording. But that's the nice thing about StreamYard. Gives you this opportunity to communicate with people live on stream while having a couple of different views on. Now, I got asked if I would go on to one of the StreamYard shows, and I said, sure, love to. And I'll be talking about my model railway and MRYCG. And I'm not sure when it's going to happen, but it should be sometime soon. I said to them, yeah, let me know, tell me what you like to do and what to prepare for, and we'll do that. Yes. So I just put that past 31 on. I did some repairs on it, and quite happy with the outcome. You know, more a service and repair. The faults a little bit on a couple of the points, but the lights work. And I'm not sure if the lights are correct, but they are on. I'm just going to get this LMS Royal Scots Fusiliers on, but the Rainfield motor requires a wee bit of attention. Yeah. So I was watching Barry Davis. Always like to watch him, Mr. Barry. Anyway, Barry was talking about, and he has a couple of 4Fs, and they're airfix, but they run great. And I didn't realise that when airfix goes down, there's a bit of a fight on to get there truly. And I guess Hornby, I don't know, maybe Apple managed to get them. But great little locomotives, and now I have 3 of them. Cooper's Rail and LMS. So I will probably sell the one British Rail 4.2, but I got the local and two mainline coaches in the one deal. Yeah, get up there. Just hook up a few wagons to that class 31 to see how it does. Yeah, I think this is struggling a little bit. Funny how some locals will challenge more than others. Got it going. All I needed was a bit of steam, so to speak. See, that's pulling 18 wagons. It's having a wee bit of trouble getting round the corner there. See if I can give it a sort of helping hand. Yeah, see, I think, I'm not sure if that class 31 originally had, but it certainly lags when it's going round a curve. And then it picks up speed. There's particular problems with that one curve, and I'm not sure if that's because it maybe power stopping off in that one corner. But I'd be interested to know other people's opinion on that class 31. If they've had similar issues with it. or maybe it needs additional weight. I'm really not sure. As you can see, it does struggle a little bit. And Barry Davis, he's got a collection of oil tankers. Not sure what's going on here. Something crossing over. Probably right there. Yeah, so Barry Davis has got a nice collection of tankers and such a treasure trove of knowledge. He can tell you the story in each and every one of them, who manufactured them, when they were released, and so on and so forth. And, I think we've got some quite rare ones here. Now I'm thinking for the Class 31, it might also be the pickups. Or, and the reason I say that is that it stops or hesitates if I press down on top of the body, it begins to run again. So that's a kind of indicator that there's something not 100% correct with the pickups. I think give it a rest before it burns out. Well, actually, an hour and 19 minutes. That's pretty good. I think I should really sign off now and go on with some other stuff. It rained this morning, but it's probably 27 degrees outside, so I'll probably have stuff to do and just notice that my iMac is right, hopefully. So, anyway, good speaking with you, and nice to hear from you again, Rob, and we'll catch up. So it's goodbye from Partick Hill Station. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.